When creating a passage plan for an ocean passage, one of the vital sources of information during the appraisal stage is the routing charts. Routing charts are monthly small-scale ocean charts that compile long-term meteorological and oceanographic data to assist navigators in planning the safest and most efficient route. These charts present a wide range of essential information, such as prevailing winds shown through wind roses, ocean currents, ice limits, load line zones, recommended shipping routes and distances between major ports, storm tracks, dew point and mean sea temperature, mean air pressure and temperature, fog and low visibility areas. In this video, we will explore all the symbols and data presented on a routing chart and understand how each of them contributes in creating an effective ocean passage plan.
Routing charts are issued on a monthly basis, from January through December. This means that if you're planning an ocean passage in November, you should use the routing chart for November to ensure the information matches the expected conditions for that month. These charts are published by the UK Hydrographic Office as part of the Admiralty Standard Nautical Chart Series. To identify which specific routing chart you need to order, you can refer to the Admiralty Chart Catalog, which lists all available chart numbers and their coverage areas. For reference, these are the general limits of the routing charts. The chart I'm using in this video is chart number 5124. You can find the chart number in the upper left corner and in the lower right corner. The number inside the parentheses indicates the month of the edition. 5124 is the North Atlantic routing chart, and the 11 inside the parentheses shows that this is the November edition, since November is the 11th month of the year. The South Atlantic Ocean routing chart is numbered 5125. North Pacific Ocean is 5127. South Pacific Ocean is 5128. Indian Ocean is 5126, and there are also additional routing charts covering specific straits, bays, and gulfs. Now let's start interpreting the symbols and data shown on this routing chart. This is a wind rose, which allows us to determine the wind direction, its frequency, and the corresponding Beaufort force. I've already created a separate video explaining how to interpret a wind rose step by step, so we won't go into full detail here, but let's have a quick recap. This long spoke shows that a westerly wind frequently occurs in this area, with wind strengths ranging from Beaufort Force 1 up to Force 12. If you want to learn the complete process of analyzing a wind rose, kindly check the full video linked in the description below. Now, let's take a closer look at this area to get a clearer view of the different symbols. To guide our interpretation, we'll refer to the marginal information located on the right side of this chart. This section provides a detailed explanation of all symbols used in the routing chart. Let's start by interpreting these blue arrows. On this chart, blue arrows show the mean ocean currents. The arrow style tells us how reliable that direction is. We call this reliability constancy. A solid blue arrow means high constancy. Over 75% of observations show the current flowing this way. Treat this as a reliable current to include in your passage calculations. A long dashed blue arrow indicates moderate constancy, roughly 50 to 75%. The current is common but not guaranteed, so include it with a margin of error. A more broken dash means low constancy, under 50%. The current is variable and should not be relied upon without local verification. A dotted arrow shows a probable direction based on few observations. This is indicative only. Verify before depending on it for navigation. To determine the direction of an ocean current, simply follow the arrowhead. The arrowhead always shows the direction in which the current is flowing. So if the arrowhead is pointing east, the ocean current is flowing toward the east. This is the opposite of wind direction, which is named from the direction the wind comes from. Ocean currents are named toward the direction they flow. The numbers placed between the blue arrows represent the speed or rate of the current. So this arrow indicates a current is moving 1 knot, while this one shows a current flowing at 0.5 knots. This long-dashed blue arrow represents a current with moderate constancy, meaning it flows in this direction about 50 to 75% of the time. So in this area, there is a moderate constancy current flowing east at a speed of 0.5 knots.
Now, you'll notice that this routing chart for November includes 2 important ice-related boundaries. Let's zoom in on this area where both limits are shown. This first line, drawn using small connected brackets, represents the mean limit of 12% sea ice concentration, based on data from 2010 to 2014. This means that during November, an average of 12% of the sea surface within this boundary is covered by sea ice. If you are navigating here, you should expect scattered sea ice and exercise caution, although this typically refers to general sea ice, not icebergs. Next, we have the mean maximum iceberg limit, indicated by a line made of small connected triangles. This boundary is derived from historical data collected between 1919 and 1956, and it shows the furthest extent to which icebergs have been observed. When planning a passage inside this limit, you must be prepared for the possibility of encountering icebergs. Therefore, the entire region enclosed by the iceberg limit line should always be considered a potential iceberg hazard zone and approached with heightened awareness. Now, let's move on to the load line zones. Let's take a closer look at this section of the chart and refer to the marginal information containing load line zones. It's shown here that each color represents a specific load line zone. Green indicates tropical zone, pink is summer zone, light blue is winter zone, and gray represents winter North Atlantic. This line between the green and pink areas along latitude 20 degrees north marks the boundary between the tropical and summer zones. Another boundary between these two zones appears here along longitude 20 degrees west, and another one along latitude 30 degrees north. Next, the line between the pink and light blue areas along latitude 36 degrees north is the boundary between summer and winter zones. This region, with alternating light blue and pink shading, tells us that it is summer zone for vessels over 100 meters and winter zone for vessels 100 meters or less. Similarly, the area with alternating light blue and gray shading indicates winter zone for vessels over 100 meters and winter North Atlantic zone for vessels 100 meters or less. Now let's move on to the recommended routes shown on this North Atlantic routing chart for the month of November. These routes are drawn in great circle tracks between major ports and connectors. It represents the recommended tracks for vessels crossing the North Atlantic during the season. They are based on long-term studies of weather patterns, prevailing winds, ocean currents, and historical storm tracks. When following these recommended routes, a ship can reduce fuel consumption, avoid areas of frequent bad weather, and experience a generally safer and smoother passage. Let's take a closer look at this section of the chart and examine the recommended route from New Orleans to Europe. Instead of passing through the Providence Channel and proceeding directly toward Bishop Rock, which are part of the connector routes, the chart recommends that we head north, pass through the Strait of Florida, and follow this track toward the next major waypoint. This allows the vessel to take advantage of a favorable ocean current. From this major waypoint, we can see that the surface current gradually shifts from an easterly set to a northeasterly set. By following the recommended Great Circle track toward the next connector at Bishop Rock,
we maintain a favorable ocean current for almost the entire voyage. But what if the voyage is from Europe to New Orleans? If we simply reverse the previous track, most of the passage would be against the ocean current. Instead, the recommended westbound route is different. From Bishop Rock, the vessel should steer southwest and follow this recommended track toward the next connector at Providence Channel. Along this route, the chart shows areas of low constancy, but still with generally favorable currents until reaching the next connector point. This reduces resistance and improves fuel efficiency. It is better to prepare an ocean passage using routing chart together with Ocean Passages for the World, which provides connector-to-connector routes along with their geographical positions. I will make a separate video explaining how to use Ocean Passages for the World in conjunction with the routing chart when planning an ocean passage. That's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.